Minister? Thank you. New question. The member for Niagara West-Glanbrook.
Thank you, Speaker. Question to the Premier. Premier, yesterday members of the Hamilton, Niagara, Haldeman, Brant Local Health Integration Network voted to shut down the emergency room, operating rooms, and inpatient medical beds at Douglas Memorial Hospital in Fort Erie. In short, the Liberal-appointed board rubber-stamped the plan to turn Douglas Memorial Hospital into nothing but a glorified walk-in clinic. Premier, you have designated Fort Erie as a growth community, a robust, vibrant town of 30,000 people, and now Dalton McGuinty is closing down their hospital. Premier, you cannot leave this decision up to an unaccountable, unelected, and largely anonymous Lynn board. Show some leadership, show some courage. Will you step in and set this decision aside and keep that hospital open?
Premier.
Minister of Health.
Minister of Health and Long-Term Care.
Speaker, thank you very much. And contrary to the bombast opposite, there's quite a different approach that members on this side of the House have taken, as we've seen previously. Previously, under the member, when he was a member of the Executive Council, there was the Hospital Services Restructuring Commission, and there was a number of backroom political conversations about healthcare services. And I want to contrast that approach with the approach that we have taken as a government, where we have local community members from the area who come together and have reviewed a plan brought forward by a local hospital board and their senior management, and they have come and asked an outside reviewer, Dr. Jack Kitts, to take a look at that plan. Speaker, Dr. Kitts, in his opinion, has said, and I quote, "In terms of improving quality of care, this plan delivers with the appropriate recommendations and changes." This morning, I had an opportunity to meet with Mayor Doug Martin, former mayors as well in Fort Erie, and I'd be happy to share the results.
Thank you. Thank you. Supplementary.
Thanks, Speaker. I mean, back to the Premier. I mean, you're damn right there's a difference. We kept that hospital open. We put new money in there to make sure that ER stayed open. McGuinty government is closing that hospital down. It's almost like you think Fort Erie is part of Pennsylvania. You've set aside a lot of their industrial land with a new definition of wetlands. The Fort Erie racetrack is about to close down, and you're ignoring the issue. And now you're closing down their hospital for all intents and purposes. Premier, if you've made that calculation, if you have decided that the people of Fort Erie don't matter, it doesn't matter what happens in the next election, at least have the guts to stand in your place and say that. But if you have any courage, if you have any guts, you have any leadership, stand up right now, say this decision will not stand, you'll set aside this decision and keep that essential hospital open for the people of Fort Erie.
Premier. Minister of Health.
Well, in fact, Speaker, the record of this member and his government, they closed 7,000 hospital beds right across the province. They fired 6,000 nurses and called them hula hoop workers. And it's worse than that, Speaker, because in the last election campaign, about 1 year ago, this member and his colleagues vowed to cut $3 billion from health care in the province of Ontario. And that's a marked contrast from the record of this government and the actions we have taken. I would quote for the member from the recent editorial of the Niagara Falls Review, and they say, and I quote, "For far too long, health care decisions have been made behind closed doors by this member and his colleagues, followed by directives issued from on high from offices at Queen's Park. Glenn Hill and her board have demonstrated they are not only capable of making tough decisions, but doing the much more difficult task of standing up publicly and taking responsibility for their actions." Speaker, this is the kind of leadership that the people of Niagara and the area have been calling out for years.
Thank you. Thank you, Minister. New question.